All right, Bracket Fanatics is the only social betting app that can manage your bracket and bracket pool while also letting you send and accept bets each round and each game of the tournament with every player in your bracket group. Bracket Fanatics is the only tournament app with the ability to let players bet on the outcome of each game in the tournament. You can talk smack with your friends. You can place a bet, watch the games with a little something riding on the outcome. You've tried Yahoo Pick'em. Now give Bracket Fanatics a try. Trust me, it's the next generation social betting app. I'm absolutely going to try it. Rob, you're going to be in it too. And I'm going to kick your ass, and I'm going to talk trash the entire time. It's free, and it's truly your one-stop site for all the mayhem. Assemble your crew. Sign up now at bracketfanatics.com. Don't forget to use the code MADNESS to be entered into their $1,000 giveaway, awarded at the end of the tournament to the player bracket with the most wins throughout the entire dance. Only those using the code will be entered. So again, pull up your favorite browser, visit bracketfanatics.com, and use the code MADNESS. All right, Rob, we are down to our last region.
Hey, before we go, though, we've got to give our Elite Eight and Final Four picks for that region.
I thought we were going to do that at the end.
Oh, okay. I thought we are. Okay, that's fine.
But we can, we'll run through. At the very end, we'll go Final Four. We'll go Final Four. We can even do Elite Eight. We can do all of them at the end. All right, Midwest. My first round game that I like, and again, I think there's a lot of them here. I think there's a lot of them that are really, really – this might actually be the best group of like evenly matched first-round matchups. I like Loyola, Chicago, Georgia Tech. Porter Moser, can he perform his magic again a couple of years after getting the Final Four against a Georgia Tech team that is red hot, that is so much fun to watch, that has Jose Alvarado, who is – I don't know if you saw that post-game interview with Josh Pastner.
That's pretty cool. Really cool.
Pastner might be the dorkiest coach in the history of college basketball.
When he was thanking the announcers for being –
oh, my God. The human face shield. The face shield. And the crazy part, I tweet that picture of him every time they win. I don't know if you see it.
Yeah.
He'll call me. If I don't tweet it, he will call me and be like, you haven't tweeted it.
He likes it. He likes the face shield pick.
He just like Josh is just – he's one – I've known him since he was 17-year-old walk-on as a freshman at Arizona.
Hey, my AAU coach gave him the ultimate props. I remember at the Kingwood Classic back in like 05 was like my first, other than Boo Williams that spring, it was the first big A. It was the first big AAU tournament I ever played at with coaches. And he pointed Josh Pastner out. And of course, his dad ran the Kingwood Classic.
Did he?
Hal Pastner. And Josh was on staff at Arizona by that time. And he literally pointed him out and was like, hopefully one day he'll recruit you. And he made him sound like this recruiting like wonder child. I was like, all right. But yeah, he's
Justin,
he got it going this year.
He can definitely coach. All right, so your first round matchup.
I agree with you. There's a lot of good ones. I went Oklahoma State Liberty. And I think Liberty kind of gets a raw deal here because they would have been a trendy pick probably to pull an upset against just about anyone except for Oklahoma State. Who I think we talked about it earlier. It's a very legitimate thing to talk about their seed line. And the two losses to TCU hurt them, but they've got as many quality wins as just about anybody. And they have probably the #1 pick in the draft. So you look at them as a 4 seed, but I really like Liberty's team. They got the player of the year in Darius McGee. Elijah Cuffey's the defensive player of the year, and a guy that's played in 4 ASET Sun tournament championships. They're really good, and they're really well coached. Kind of through that Virginia coaching tree under Tony Bennett. They play similarly. They'll grind you out. They guard you, but they've got some guards that can really go at Liberty. So I'm looking forward to that
one. Second round matchup that I want to see. I mean, doesn't it have to be Jim Boeheim and Bob Huggins? Like, is there any other answer here or no?
I want something else, but go ahead. I'm going Illinois and Loyola Chicago just because I think the story is cool of location. And I think that, Loyola has been such an interesting storyline for the last couple of years since they made the Final Four. So I went with them. I also kind of jotted down, I have a Sweet 16 I want to root for.
All right, go ahead.
And that's Houston and West Virginia. Because you talk about like grown man basketball.
Yeah, they'll
That
kill
game,
you.
that's one where you say this game is not for the weak.
Yeah.
Like every rebound is war.
Yep.
It would be a total battle with two really good coaches in Bob Huggins and also Kelvin Sampson. Syracuse, to me, like I think the coaching thing is interesting, but I don't think Syracuse can beat West Virginia.
Yeah, they probably can't. They probably can't. But again, I'd like to see two guys who are towards the end of their career, go against each other like that. I do like your Illinois, Loyola, Chicago, and I love the big man matchup. Krutwig against Kofi. Like, imagine Kofi trying to guard Krutwig. Like, that'll be a tough cover for him. He'd have a lot of issues in that game.
And Cam Krutwig is one of those guys that's like the lone hold. No, I think they have two guys that play. Two guys in that rotation are holdovers from the Final Four team. But yeah, Krutwig, he's had a phenomenal year. He's skilled.
Yep.
He can just score in a number of ways. And I mean, he's pretty good himself. So they give each other problems. Kofi is enormous.
What would you do, Rob? Would you literally, if he gets the ball and you're between him and the rim within 5 feet, are you just moving out of the way? Like, what are you doing?
What do you mean? Like, you have to provide some sort of resistance.
But you die. He'd kill you.
Now, what do you mean? Like me individually, or are you saying
you individually? You individually. Like, are you going to try to like get in front of him as he gets the ball? You know he's going to dunk over you. He's getting it 2 feet from the rim, 3 feet, and you are in between Kofi and the basket. Are you going to pretend that you're going to try to defend him and just like fall out of the way? How are you going to play it?
I'm going to answer your question with a question. Did I guard DeMarcus Cousins in an NBA game?
No.
The answer is yes.
No, you didn't. Really
So if I did that, I didn't guard him good, but if I was able to hang in there and try to guard him, I could try to guard Kofi. I would honestly, if I was thrown into the game on whatever day they play, Friday, Saturday, whenever, I think as a defender, you've got to try to push him as far off the block as you can, which is easier said than done. But you got to try to ride him out there, and then
I'd love to see you try to push him off the block. I'd love to see it.
I would probably try to draw some offensive fouls. That would be
flopping.
I mean, I'm 6'8", 220. I'd be giving up, 3 inches and probably 65 pounds.
Yeah.
It's not a good matchup. But you gotta match that size with some of my quickness. I'm getting around him. I'm fronting him some. I'm playing 3/4 some. I'm mixing it up. We're trapping him. I've got a good coach and some good help defense behind me. We're gonna make life tough on Kofi Coburn.
I mean, I guess it's no different than you trying to guard Kofi would be like me trying to guard you in the post.
No, I think that I would have a better chance against Kofi than you. Yes, I'd be out for blood. Elbows flying. I mean, I have something to prove. Kofi has nothing to prove against me.
We're doing it.
I've got something to prove against you.
That's what we're doing. The off season, I'm giving you the ball in the post, and I'm gonna see how much I can keep you away from the basket.
Push me off the block.
I'm just gonna be elbowing the shit out of you. Is what I'm gonna be doing.
You're one of those. You know what? Bad players are usually dirty players. So
well, I will be with you. Whatever it takes. Listen. I'm not only giving up how many inches, but I'm also giving up a few years. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
a few. It would be an understatement. And
it's only 10. It's 9. I mean, you just hit 40. You're getting close. You're getting close.
I turned 32 a couple of days ago. I'm still fresh and young.
How many people thought you were 40? Anybody?
No, because how would I be 40? If everybody thinks I played at Purdue for more than 5 years, but I mean, if I got there in 2007, you have to be terrible at math. Maybe they must not have math course at Arizona, because this is the second time that you have not been able to count tonight.
Listen, all I know is not everybody's remembering when you played at Purdue. They think it might have been a long time ago. They think you might be 40.
Well, for those people, I'm sorry to tell you, I am only 32, and I'm going to kick the shit out of Jeff this summer in whatever competition we have.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. We're also going to try to play pickleball. I've never played. I've never even played, but I'll beat your ass.
I come from a family of elite pickleball players, so I look forward to that.
pickleball lineage.
Yeah, it's high. And you know what? I'm here in Florida right now. Canyon Barry, Canyon's dad, Rick Barry is diehard pickleball.
I'm sure.
We actually had an argument the other day. I had to call my dad and settle a rules dispute when we were arguing in one of the vans over to Disney. Yeah, pickleball it's gaining traction all over the United States.
The real deal. Mark, just ask Mark Few, man. He's probably playing right now in India.
Staff who's taking a net to
they're setting up a court as we speak. They're setting up a court in the ballroom right now.
Yeah,
we'll have to get Few to text me a picture if they really
get some footage of him kicking some assistant's ass out of in the convention center.
All right, the upset in the Midwest. What do you got? What's your big upset?
This probably isn't an upset, but I said Rutgers over Clemson.
Me too.
You know, Clemson, they lose to Miami in the ACC tournament. That doesn't inspire me to pick them much. Again, the Big Ten strength of the league. That's who I want. That's a 10 over a 7, which isn't a huge upset. That's the one that stood out to me.
Yeah, I don't have anything better than that either. I don't think Oklahoma State loses. I don't think Tennessee.
Like you could say maybe Syracuse over San Diego State.
Right. Yeah. Again, not huge. Not huge.
No.
You know, both of those are like mild upsets if they happen. You know, San Diego State, nobody's really seen much of this year. Let's face it. They've been the Mountain West. They've won out. They've reeled off a ton of games, and I think their culture is so strong. All right, top players. Let me hit. I'll start with this one. Io and Kofi for Illinois. You got to watch them. Jose Alvarado, because he's a friggin' riot and he brings so much energy and enthusiasm. Got to watch him. Cade Cunningham, obviously, from Oklahoma State, the #1 pick. You want to help me out? Anybody else?
Derek Culver for sure. Quentin Grimes, Houston.
Grimes.
I went Darius McGee too. That dude could go for 30.
You love him.
Honestly, I think really highly of him. I mean, he's little. He's 5'8", 5'9". He's got a 40+ inch vertical jump. He can really shoot from deep.
Right?
Darius McGee's my guy. I'm rolling.
That's your guy. And they get don't they have another guard too? Another senior guard who's pretty good?
Yeah, the transfer. Is it Parker?
Chris Parker.
Chris Parker, yeah. Chris Parker,
yep.
Player.
Yeah, so I mean they got some players. I mean they can make it interesting. You know, there's an Oklahoma State team that hasn't been there before. So those are always the most fun games for me are the one of my favorite a couple of years ago was the year after Virginia loses to UMBC, their first round game. I'm at it, and I usually bounce from site to site. It's in Columbia, South Carolina. I forget where I came from, but I drove there, got there right before the game, walk in, and Virginia's playing Gardner-Webb in their first game, and everybody's cheering for Gardner-Webb. They're going against Virginia again, and Gardner-Webb comes right out of the gates and puts pressure on him. And I've talked to Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome about it recently, and they were both like, yeah, we were scared shitless at that point. It was like, oh, no, not
PTSD of first half deficits.
But I love those, Rob. And I don't know how many times when you were at Purdue, did you play in a lot of those first-round games where people were rooting against you or not really?
So, yeah. My sophomore year, for sure, we had Northern Iowa the year before they beat Kansas, and they were really good that year too. That's a scary game. And they cut it to 4 or 5 with 2.5 to go. We'd been up by 10 kind of the whole game, and it didn't really feel close. Then all of a sudden it felt really close. And the arena turns on you. The arena, everybody there, because we had Washington out there. I think Washington played Mississippi State, so they didn't have a bunch of fans. But Washington certainly had packed that place, and everybody was rooting for Northern Iowa to beat us. And luckily we kind of weathered the storm. My junior year would have probably been like that. We would have been a 1 seed, but then I got hurt.
Yeah.
Other than that, and we beat Scott Drew and Baylor my freshman year. I want to say they were an 11 seed though, so it wasn't
I was there.
And we beat them so bad. We killed
scored
them.
how many points did you
scored 100?
Yeah,
it was 90 something. It was 92,
it was an embarrassment because you guys weren't known for score. I know
everybody was saying can you guys hang with Baylor's high-powered offense. They had Lasdarius Dunn and Tweety
Yeah.
Carter and Curtis Geralds, who has had an awesome career overseas.
Yeah.
But yeah, that there was a play in that game. I need to find it on Synergy where I got switched onto Lasdarius Dunn, and he's running the baseline. He's coming off screens. And I'd guarded 4 men the whole year. And this is pre-stretch 4. I will give Matt Painter a ton of credit because I was like, the stretch 4 was not a thing. And he just put me at the 4, and it was such an advantage for me. Yeah, like I'm guarding like Marcus Landry and like Goran Suton for like that's who I'm going against. Those are post players, right? So Baylor decides to go small, and I get put on Lasdarius Dunn, and he's running like the baseline, just coming off screens. And I get totally lost, and I try to shoot the gap, and he had stopped and come out the other side of the floor. I didn't see him stop. I was on the opposite side I'm literally like 40 feet away from him. And we were watching film, and Coach Painter's like, Rob, this is some of the worst defense I've ever seen. It was like funny.
You're like, Coach,
won by 30 points, but it was like, whoa, that's
he's like a 2-guard, right? He's like a freak athlete, 2-guard. Yeah, no, that ain't Goran Suton. All right, best storylines in the Midwest.
Oklahoma State is a 4 seed. Is certainly interesting. I think Loyola Chicago's return. What's that? Sorry.
Can Hugs make a run?
I like that. I think that's interesting. I think, Loyola Chicago's first time back since making a run to the Final Four. And then maybe seeing in-state Illinois in round 2 is a good one. Rutgers finally back to the tournament to me after last year where they got the shaft. That's a good story. And then I would say, can Houston maybe, make the American can they lift the narrative of the American Conference? And Wichita State helped their cause today enormously. But can Houston make a run coming out of that league? And really, do they have enough offense, I would say, to do that? Can their guards – Quentin Grimes has played really well to end the year.
Yeah.
Marcus Sasser has not. He was certainly disappointing, I think, to end the regular season. So, can their guards score enough? And can they rebound against elite teams in college basketball? I know they can crush teams in the American on the glass. Can they crush in Illinois on the glass? Can they get a team like Oklahoma State who's got athletes? Can they do it against West Virginia, who is known for it? That is a cool storyline to me because Kelvin Sampson's done a great job down there.
For me, I just want that Cade matchup so bad. I want that so bad. Like, that would be the biggest Sweet 16 matchup, period. Like, nothing would be better than that. If we can get Illinois,
that'd be sweet.
Oklahoma State.
Two elite, big guards.